श्रीमदाततं भुवि गृह्णन्ति ये भूरिदा जनाः. Let us resume our discussion on Sri Ramakrishna's spiritual discourses with his intimate devotees at his residence in the Dakshineshwar temple premises on a Sunday afternoon dated 26th of October 1884, where many of his young spiritual aspirants as well as householder devotees were present. This being a Sunday afternoon, many householder devotees had the opportunity to visit Dakshineshwar either from Kolkata or from nearby areas, even across the Ganges, on the western bank of the Ganges, from Konnagar and other areas, and participate in his spiritual discourses. This particular session of Sri Ramakrishna's spiritual message is extremely relevant for the spiritual aspirants, both who are following the householder's life and the others. When we study this section very deeply, we find that this perennial question in our mind, which discipline is better, has been resolved by Sri Ramakrishna step by step in a point-wise fashion. On cursory reading, we may not get the link how Sri Ramakrishna has interlinked all our inherent questions to arrive at a final solution to this problem. So here his discourse gives us 7 points to remember, which are chronologically presented by Sri Ramakrishna so aptly that we don't realize how scientifically it has been given to us. Firstly, he draws our attention to the central question of our life. What is the goal of life? So he presents certain message which is common for one and all, and certain other methods which are applicable to particular group of people. So Sri Ramakrishna's message cannot be uniformly accepted by one and all. Some sayings are on the principle Tattvam, that is infallible for one and all. That does not change. That is not subjective. There are certain aspects in life which are not subjective, doesn't depend on individual to individual. But the applications do differ. Implementation do differ. But the principle, the theory, that is uniform, that is eternal, that is unchangeable. So first point, what he says repeatedly, which are all very much known to us, the realization of God is the goal of life for all human beings. Of course, here he categorizes human beings from other species. Not for all creatures, but whoever has a human body, belonging to whichever country, whichever background, the goal is common for one and all. There is no variation. As soon as a person is born as a human being, his or her goal is identical. Number one, first point, which we already know. Secondly, he says, that there are two different methods to lead our life. In our Shastras, we have got 4 stations of life, 4 stages, 4 phases of our life. Chatur ashram, all these phases are called ashram. So human beings used to be considered to have an expectancy of life of 100 years. Shatayu, 100 years is the expected life of a human being. That is calculated in our Shastras. And this life of human being, 100 years, have been split into 4 parts of 25 years each. And each part, each section of the life has been assigned to some stages of our duties and disciplines, and also the environment. So first stage again is common for all. That is the student life, preparatory stage. It is meant for all. Brahmacharya ashrama. There are certain disciplines, do's and don'ts, injunctions and prohibitions in each section. So the Brahmacharya ashram, they have a different code of conduct. Each ashram is supposed to practice some disciplines, austerities. They are called tapaha, tapas. Chhatranam adhyayanam tapaha. Those who are in a brahmacharya ashram, for them study is the main discipline. They don't have to do anything else. Neither they have to go for earning or stick to any other station of life. They have to study, learning phase. They have to build their life for future combat. And they have certain disciplines, how they should behave. Acharya devo bhava, matri devo bhava, satyam vada, dharmam chara, adi. After the brahmacharya ashram is over, then the next ashrama of the 4 stages is grihastha ashrama, life of a householder, which is also prescribed for one and all. So another section, roughly another 25 years, then the person is allowed to get married, have a family life, and rear children and maintain them. Then after this life is over, the 3rd phase is Vanaprastha, superannuated stage, where the retire, and then gradually they tame off from their active life. Not a sudden, gradually they tame off from their active life for another 25 years. It's a nicely given a proper timing so that they can gradually go from one stage to the other. And in each stage, the goal is to realize God. Let us not have any doubt. Even a brahmachari's aim is to realize God, for which he is doing some studies. A grihasthi, his aim is to realize God. That's why he is discharging some duties as per the injunctions and prohibitions. So a vanaprasthi is preparing himself for a full-time devotion to God. And finally, the culmination of all the three ashrama is the sannyasa ashram. Life of complete renunciation. Then they give up their hearth and home and they retire completely in the name of God. So these are the four ashramas. But then gradually it turned out that those who have intense desire to realize God, so they seek a shortcut. Instead of going through all the four ashramas, so after the brahmacharya ashrama, they prefer to opt out to directly the sannyasa ashrama because of their qualification and taste and temperament. So they are allowed to bypass the stage of householder and retirement life to enter directly into the life of sannyas. So that's how it has come to our system of two major disciplines. One is after brahmacharya, who are entering in the life of householder and gradually proceeding toward the one goal, and another is who are bypassing the householder's life after the phase of brahmacharya and entering into the life of sannyas. So the brahmacharya ashrama is meant for all. Afterwards there can be diversion. So at this point, some of the spiritual aspirants at the moment are either following the path of sannyas or following the path of householder. So basically we have two categories: grihasthi, sannyasi. The first point, Sri Ramakrishna says that God realization is meant for all, that is accepted. So now, since some people are allowed to enter into the life of sannyas, it's a common understanding that these people are superior because they are not interested to follow the circuitous route. They prefer the shortcut. So it is a better method provided you have the opportunity. Many people repent that I could not adhere to this life because I didn't have that opportunity. Had I been to this opportunity, I would definitely followed that life, thinking that this method is preferable, better. So these questions are within our mind, which needs to be resolved. And Sri Ramakrishna resolves this question once for all. You have to read between the lines. So his second message is this, that God realization is possible by both the methods. The second point, that one can realize God by being in a living of the life of a householder as well as being a monk. There are plenty of examples. But then, even if it has been said in our scriptures repeatedly that these 4 stations are called ashramas. Ashramas means environment which enables us to realize God. They are not hells. This station is not to be condemned. But then this is peculiar in our mind to feel some superiority complex, those who are monks or nuns, and some inferiority complex, those who are householders. This is very common. Because we find even the very, very honorable, aged, successful, distinguished devotees are offering their humble pranams to even young monks who are, compared to the social standard, are nothing, because they are monks and we are householders. We have to understand this offering of our obeisance, respect, is not to the person but to the principle of renunciation. We should not make this complex in our mind. Neither the monk should feel that he is superior, neither the devotee should feel he is inferior, because they are supposed to adhere to one singular principle of life, which is renunciation. The second point, Sri Ramakrishna says that God realization is possible both being in the life of a householder or in the being of a sannyasin. Still then we have some doubts, because we see that those who are exalted lives, avataras, they have given up their life of householder and embraced sannyasa, following this normal method. So they didn't follow the normal method, they given up. So definitely it is better. Why did Bhagavan Buddha give up his life of householder, left his young wife and kid, went away? Bhagavan Chaitanya went away. Those people, they have left the life and shown a life of exalted glory. Naturally it comes to one mind, perhaps they have prescribed the life of householder in order to cajole us, to encourage us, so that we do not feel disappointment. So they have compromised on the values. It tells in our heart. So this time, God did not leave any shade of doubt in our mind. Sri Ramakrishna lived an ideal life of a householder and an ideal life of a sannyasin, two in one simultaneously, till the last day of his life. Illustrating once for all that both the methods are valid, equally valid. Not one is less, one is more. The second assurance from the teachings and life of Sri Ramakrishna. Nevertheless, he says, there is no concession for any group. Normally we feel that the sannyasins are supposed to lead a very strict disciplinary life, whereas the householders are given some compromise, some concession, that we are specially chosen by God to give us an easy way of life. Nothing like that. In a scientific pursuit, the method would be brutally same for one and all. There is no subjective compromise. If one experiment has to be true by certain method, that will be equally applicable whoever does it, wherever he or she is. There is no variation. So the singular method to attain God in this life is renunciation. Irrespective of whether you are a householder or a sannyasi, there is no compromise. Brutally no. No concession for anyone. It has been unmistakably pointed out in our scriptures. Tyage naike amritatva manashuhu. Sri Ramakrishna didn't compromise. By renunciation alone, the immortality has to be attained. Now please mark the word. It has not been said Tyagena amritatva manashu. By renunciation, the immortality will be attained. Tyage naikena. By renunciation alone, there is no other variation, no second path. Some people have started saying of late, Sambhog se samadhi ka or. All bogus. You have to follow the scriptures. You cannot attain the ultimate reality by compromising on this principle of renunciation. And what is to be renounced? There is a confusion in this method also. What is to be given up? That also Sri Ramakrishna says. So the first point was God realization is the goal of life. Secondly, it can be attained by being a householder or a sannyasin. Both points are valid. Third is, nevertheless, the method is same, path of renunciation. Then what is the difference? Why they are different? Fourth point, he says, the applications are different. The method is same, but the application is different. What is the difference? Very simple. The householders are supposed to lead a life of renunciation internally, not externally. Antah-tyaga. Externally, there is no harm if they live in the amidst physical pleasures. Whereas the sannyasins are supposed to lead a life where the renunciation is practiced both internally and externally. Two methods are there. Choice is ours. No one is inferior, no one is superior. It depends on your preference, your taste, your temperament. So, but we should know what are the do's and don'ts of the both disciplines. One is both internal and external in renunciation. One is internal renunciation only. He gives an example that a boat floats on water. So there is no harm. Boat should ply on water. But if water enters into the boat, it is dangerous. If the boat is not in the water at all, the danger is not there. The boat cannot ply. It has to be carried. So the natural flow of the boat is in the water, but we have to take care. So there is no harm to live in the world, but it's extremely risky and dangerous, not permissible, to allow worldliness to enter within us. We have to make a shield, no entry for worldliness. So then it comes out, Tyage naike amritatva manashu, Tyaga has to be done. What is to be renounced? The renunciation means asakti tyaga, renunciation of the attachment. Renunciation means detachment, mental detachment, not physical detachment. So that application is different. Now the fifth point comes that is it possible, the question has been asked here, to remain in the world and very conveniently follow the path of renunciation, because there are so many attractions around us. Now Sri Ramakrishna indirectly replies this question by a counter question, as was done by Vasishtha to convince Sri Ramachandra, who wanted to renounce the world, lead a life of sannyasa right after the completion of brahmacharya period. So their Guru Vasishtha advised him not to jump in the life of sannyasa, but to follow this normal course of Garasthashram, etc. And then when Ramachandra argued, I have nothing to do with the worldly pleasures, I want God alone, then Vasishtha's counsel was quoted by Sri Ramakrishna in this context. That God is present everywhere. Where will you go, living God? We see the world as a heinous place, as a hell, which the world is not. Vasishtha argued, please find me a place where God is not present. What are you giving up? You are giving up the world, external world, which is full of God. So it is your own mental pollution which has polluted the external world. External world is same. There is a beautiful flower. You are seeing it with a screen of green prism. You see the flower is green. Those who do not have any color see the flower as it is. See, your mental attachment is being mixed with the world and making it a place of dejection. World has no problem. So what we have to change is our outlook, drishti bhangi. You have to change yourself, not the world. You have to orient yourself. We want to change the environment. Wherever you go, we will have the same problem. That's why Bhagavad Gita has been said, which I have quoted repeatedly. Vishaya vinivartanti niraharasya dehinaha. He may abstain himself from the external world, but even then his mental attachment, mental asakti will hover over the sensual pleasures. External disconnection is not a solution. Then when it will be over? Raso varjam rasapyasya param drishtva nivartate. So this fight, this struggle will continue till param drishtva, till we realize, till we see God. It is the goal of life. You cannot put the cart before the horse. Horse has to be in the front of the cart to drag it on. So you cannot condemn the world because you are not able to process. So the question is that is it possible, says, that where else will you go? Swami Vivekananda, in a different context, gives an anecdote. One intelligent professor school teacher was leading a class of children, and he asked a question. Then when something is floating in the air, and when it falls, when did it fall? He said, "All why? It will fall on the earth, fall on the ground." Then he said, "The earth is also roaming around in this universe. Why doesn't it fall?" So everything falls. सब कुछ गिरता है. अगर ये पृथ्वी गिरता क्यों नहीं? Everybody was a mum. There is one young student. He said, "Sir, where will it fall?" पृथ्वी कहाँ गिरेगा? It is floating. There is no ground under it. It's all space. It's floating in the space. So falling comes, this question comes when we imagine something which is other than the space. There is no place other than God. Throughout the world, Ishavasya midam sarvam jat kinche jagat tang jagat. When God is present everywhere, that's why the question of Vashishta, please argue and tell me, show me a place where God is not present. What are you giving up? You are giving up God? Or you want to give up? Which is to be given up? So he could not convince him. Yes, everything. So it is the fault in our vision. We should change our outlook, change our vision. That has to be done. Changing the station is not a solution. Changing the vision is desirable. Now, after this, though it is accepted, all right, that the world need not be renounced, the question still comes, what is more congenial? We accept both the methods are equally valid. Then, कहाँ सुविधा है? Naturally, it's a very common question. Those who have an alternative, they can definitely ask this question. But even if those who are in the householder's life, वो भी सोचते रहते हैं, अगर दूसरा मेथड में सुविधा है, क्यों ये फॉलो करें? We can directly go there. So when we climb a mountain, there are two principal ways. One is the normal road, another is the mountain trail. एक बस का रास्ता है, एक पगडंडी है. Straight चले जाएंगे. That is shortcut, but that is very risky. You can fall any moment. Whereas the normal route is circuitous but safer. It depends on you what method you like to follow. But be very careful, because if you are taking a shortcut pagdandi, it is risky. इसलिए कहा जाता है, एक कहावत, साधु होना कठिन है जैसे पेड़ खजूर, चढ़ी तो चाखे प्रेम रस, गिरे तो चकनाचूर. हम तो देखते ही रहते हैं, कोई गिर जाता है, चकनाचूर हो जा रहा है. ये कठिन है, तो जानबूझ करके खजूर के पेड़ में चढ़ना चाहिए. इट्स डिफिकल्ट, बट डेफिनेटली those who can, hats off to them. So then we feel that those who are not able to follow the path of sannyasin, those who are in the householder's life, they are in an incongenial atmosphere. It takes longer time, it's comfortable, but it's not congenial for the life of renunciation, for spiritual aspirants. It's a serious question in our mind that though they are both the methods, which is more congenial, कौन सुविधा है, which is preferable. Now Sri Ramakrishna answers this question saying, point blank, the life of householder is preferable. Bold statement here, without any compromise. We cannot make any other meaning. And he gives arguments for that. It's not he simply throws his opinion on us. It appeals to our reason. He says, out of these two methods, not only both are valid, equally valid, no one is inferior, no one is superior, yet the life of a householder is more congenial. It gives a better environment for the spiritual aspirants to realize that goal quicker. He may prefer Pagdandi, but do not rest assured, God will come quicker to you. This is a normal mistake, confusion, both in the minds of householders and in the minds of sannyasins. Unfortunately, in sannyasins think, बहुत इजी हो गया अभी तो संन्यास पकड़ लिया, जल्दी मिल जाएंगे. The life of Holy Mother, Mayar Katha, Gospel of Holy Mother. One person was staying near mother in her household, near her household. Now he decided to give a full time for spiritual aspirations, to reach God quicker. So he went away, retired. Young person, devotee, and went straight to Rishikesh in the mountains, and living all left to himself with the thought of God. Full time, gave up all his assignments, duties and responsibilities. It is permissible, he can lead a life of sannyasin. But then, after reaching there, after some time, he could not find any prospect of realizing God within a given time limit. It was as he was in the plains, as he is on the mountains. So he wrote a letter that I have given up everything. I have come all the way to Rishikesh to see Thakur. Why am I not able to see God? He's counting his renunciation. He has given, definitely he has done something. Then mother says, mother would not write, she will dictate the replies. Mother says, please write him that Thakur has not gone all the way to Rishikesh to reveal him. If you go to mountains, do not expect that Thakur is waiting there to give you a vision. If you are not able to see God here, you are not able to see God there also. Changing the station will not make any matter. It's the statement of mother. When he has given up everything for God, let him call on God and wait for his grace, as he had to do here. Being impatient, changing the station will not solve any matter. Please write him that God, okay, লিখে দাও ঠাকুর ওর জন্যে ঋষিকেশে গিয়ে উপস্থিত হননি. He has not purchased a ticket and gone to Rishikesh to to reward his sense of renunciation. Because renunciation is not the external renunciation. It is internal renunciation, asakti tag, which is equally expected whether you are a householder or a sannyasi. So the station of life doesn't make any difference. Now why the life of a householder is congenial? Now Sri Ramakrishna says that whatever methods you follow, the most problematic issue in our life is our maintenance of this body. You can give up this world, but you can give up this body. The body has certain necessities, requirements. In order to live, you have to eat. You need food and drink. You need a shelter. You need clothes. When you are sick, you have to be taken care of. So when you are alone, you have to arrange everything for yourself. Whereas you are in a set environment in a household, you don't have to waste so much time for this physical maintenance. So the amount received can be devoted to God. So you get more opportunity. So for mundane maintenance of our life, when you go somewhere else, you roam around, constantly get adjusted with new and new environment, how much time, energy and attention has to be spent? Sri Ramakrishna says that one person was in the household and he wanted to realize God. He told his wife that I want to give up this world and go to mountains and call on God with full time. Now Thakur says, O Striti Gyani Chilo, his wife was wise. Now she said, where should you go leaving this household and spend so much of time begging your food in 10 doors? You'll get all the food from the particular kitchen and you can devote that time here itself. Who's stopping you? 10 জায়গায় ঘুরে ভিক্ষা না করে এক জায়গায় খেতে পাবে। Some people complained, those who are in the joining the mission, that we have to spend so much of time for our physical duties, so much of seva we have to do. If we are allowed not to do any seva, we can do our spiritual practice all the time. Mother's reply was in a question, Ki tomai khete debe baba? Who will feed you? You are doing some service to the world by being in a household or being in an organization, and the society is feeding you. If you completely get yourself away, then you have to have your food by roaming around, by wandering. You have to search your shelter from this tree or some other tree. So Sri Ramakrishna says, all told, we are our body, Sariram Vyadhi Mandiram. If you are stuck with some disease, you have to rush to a doctor. If you are left somewhere else, how much of suffering you have to do? The goal is not to show your renunciation or to make a mess. The goal of life is to call on God with sincere longing, and that is ensured in a set pattern of householder's life. Provided we are serious, we should make use, not abuse our householder's life. Definitely there are obstructions, there are distractions where there is not. Nevertheless, the advantages received in a householder's life should be fully utilized with our singular goal to realize God. So this is there. Now, this is general statement. Now the climax comes. Here's 7-point formula. The 7-point is coming, the climax of the question. Generally it is all right, accepted. But general rule cannot be applicable for one and all. As far as I am concerned, what should I do? Each person has to face certain challenges of life which are not common with others. This question comes to our particular life, that I have so many difficulties. This question comes not only in the life of these householders, this question comes in the life of sannyasins also. Have I done the correct thing by giving up my world, the household? I am alone here. I have not realized God. Should I go back to the life of householder? And householder also thinks, a particular person, when he is faced with adversities, it becomes sometimes unbearable, both for the life of householder and sannyasis. Do not think the question is for the one party. So Sri Ramakrishna meant for all, for both the parties. So he says this question was not asked, but he has resolved it for us once for all. That when you are subjected to certain adverse condition, then there is a strong urge within that is it correct what I am doing here? Am I not wasting time? What is the use of this meaningless fight with the environment? I have the means. Nobody is stopping me to change my station of life. Why don't I change the station of life and follow the path of renunciation? Sri Ramakrishna says, one should follow the path of renunciation. Our scriptures also said, who is to follow the path of renunciation after the period of brahmacharya, and when to follow the path of renunciation, at what station of life? The reply is, Jadahareva virajet tadahareva pravarjet. Whenever, at any point of time in your life, who is qualified to lead a life of sannyasins? At any stage of your life, whenever you have a tibra vairagya, intense call for renunciation, you are allowed to go away. You are permitted. Now, while clarifying this point, Swami Bhutishananji says, our 12th president of the order, he says, please take the word of Sri Ramakrishna, Tibra Vairagya, and differentiate it from Prabal Vairagya. Intense renunciation and great renunciation are different. They said in the scriptures, Nirgacchati jagat jalat pinjaradiva keshari. When a lion is caught in a net, it breaks asunder all the bonds and rushes. Nirgacchati. When that intense renunciation dawns. Now, this question comes to us when we are subjected to adversaries. Tremendous longing comes to us and we question, is it not the intense renunciation? Who will measure? Who will tell us that it is not intense, it is less intense? Who will resolve this doubt? This question is being answered by the master stroke of Sri Ramakrishna. He says, संसार में आंधी में उड़ती हुई जूठी पत्तल की तरह रहो. সংসারে ঝড়ের এঁটো পাতার মতো থাকো। What a bold statement. Nobody could imagine that such a bold statement can be given for spiritual aspirants. Spiritual aspirants are being advised to remain as low as the live in the world like a cast of leaf in a gale. English is subdued, mellowed, but the vernacular is straight. झूठी पत्ता की झूठी पत्तल, जो पत्तल में खाना खा के जो झूठी पत्तल है, एटो पाता, those are thrown aside in a garbage, बाहर में फेंक दिया जाता है। उसी तरह रहना। Meaning, and he clarifies, and his clarification should be read and interpreted very minutely. He has not stopped. He is explaining. Such a leaf, what happens to the leaf? Such a leaf is sometimes blown inside a house and sometimes to a rubbish heap. देखिए कितने सुंदर बताया ठाकुर, सब कुछ समाधान कर दिया। झूठी पत्तल का क्या होता है? को आंधी, आंधी मतलब ईश्वर के ग्रेस, कृपा बताश। आंधी हम लोग समझते हैं हमें भटकते रहते हैं। आंधी मतलब द गेल ऑफ हिज ग्रेस, इज नॉट ए गेल ऑफ हिज कर्स। इस आंधी मतलब स्टॉर्म डिस्टर्ब्स अस, बट हिज ग्रेस reinforces us, reconstructs us. It doesn't destruct, doesn't destroy. It reforms us, rejuvenates us. कैसे करते हैं? झूठी पत्तल को आंधी कभी घर के भीतर ले जाती है, कभी उसको गृहस्थी बनाते हैं, कभी नावदान में, कभी बाहर में रखते हैं। Either he is beneath a tree, कंप्लीट बेसहारा है, कभी घर में रखा। हवा को रुख जिस ओर होता है, पत्तल भी उसी ओर उड़ती है। कभी अच्छी जगह पर गिरती है और कभी बुरी जगह पर। तुम्हें इस समय उन्होंने अभी नाउ दिस इज आवर ही इज गिविंग दैट पॉइंटेड रिप्लाई टू आवर पर्सनल क्वेश्चन। इज नॉट ए जनरल क्वेश्चन, आई हैव ए पर्सनल क्वेश्चन। मैं क्या करूं? हमारी अवस्था है, क्या करूं? व्हाट शुड आई बी डूइंग? कहां जाएं? तुम्हें इस समय एट द मोमेंट डू नॉट थिंक दैट दिस इज द डिक्टेशन फॉर द रेस्ट ऑफ योर लाइफ। एट द मोमेंट डू नॉट थिंक अबाउट फ्यूचर। यू आर ऑलवेज वरिंग अबाउट फ्यूचर। लेट अस मेक ए प्लान, लेट अस मेक एन इन्वेस्टमेंट so that this much amount will be kept in the bank so that it could be maintaining for me in future years. No. तुम्हें इस समय उन्होंने शमशान में डाल रखा है, अच्छा है, इज मेंट फॉर यू, तुम्हारे कल्याण के लिए वहां पर रखा गया है। डू नॉट थिंक यू आर मोर इंटेलिजेंट देन गॉड, दैट इज अवर डिफिकल्टी। वी थिंक वी आर वेरी इंटेलिजेंट, गॉड हैज डन सम design for us, we think he has some less intelligence, he has not understood my problem. Bhagavan is saying, घमंड मत बनो। तुम्हें इस समय उन्होंने शमशान में डाल रखा है, अच्छा है, इस समय यहीं रहो, remain in this place at the moment. Do not think this is your fate for the rest of your life, nothing change can come. फिर जब यहां से उठाकर अच्छी जगह में ले जाएंगे तब देखा जाएगा, जो होगा सो होता रहेगा। इससे अच्छा काउंसिल क्या हो सकता है? masterpiece. He says, the leaf goes wherever the wind blows, sometimes to a good place and sometimes to a bad place. ये सब इंटरेक्शन हम देखते रहते हैं, बड़ा बुरी हालत में है. ये समझना चाहिए, बुरी हालत में हम जो पड़े हुए हैं, ये भगवान की इच्छा से हो गया. ये कोई शैतान की इच्छा नहीं है, ये कोई शैतान का अभिशाप नहीं है, भगवान को कृपा है. कृपा सब समय रोशनी से नहीं आती है, कृपा अंधेरा से भी आते हैं. যে রাতে মোর দুয়ারগুলি ভাঙলো ঝড়ে, জানি নাই তো তুমি এলে আমার ঘরে. ঝড় যে তোমার জয়ধ্বজা তাই কি জানি, সকালবেলা উঠে দেখি দাঁড়িয়ে আছো তুমি একই, ঘর ভরা মোর শূন্যতার বুকের ওপরে. A storm came, destroyed my house, destroyed my cottage. I thought it's a great blunder in my life, great curse in my life. Everything got shattered. But I did not realize that I would get God in lieu of these adversities. प्रतिकूलता ही अनुकूलता के सूचक है. Adversaries are the forerunners of good luck for us. We are stupid. We are innocent. We do not know. God knows for us. Now God has put you in this world. That is good. वो अच्छा है तुम्हारे लिए. We always curse our fate. We should rejoice, thank. Jesus Christ says, rejoice that you are persecuted. जब तुम्हें कोई बुरा बनाते हैं, बुरा बोलते हैं, आनंद करना, तारीफ करना, ताकि उससे माध्यम से तुम भगवान का करीब पहुंच रहे हो. Stay here. जहां पर भगवान रखे हैं वही तुम्हारे लिए सर्वोत्तम जगह है. Do not waste your time in thinking which place is better, which is not. Depend on Him. शरणागत हो जाओ. Again when, and ये भी भरोसा रखो, जब तुम्हारा प्रयोजन अगर हो जरूर कुछ करेंगे. He says again when He lifts you from here and puts you in a better place, then will be time enough to think about what to do then. तब सोचा जाएगा. Not now. So the gist comes of all this discourse is the gist of Bhagavad Gita. After saying everything, Sri Krishna says to his friend, Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja aham tva sarva papebhyo mokshavishyami ma shucha. सोचने का कोई आवश्यकता नहीं है. There is no reason for any thinking or deliberation or repentance. Do not think. क्या करना है? मामेकम शरणम व्रज. Take recourse in me. Resign in my will. जो कुछ हो रहा है भगवान की इच्छा से हो रहा है. It is true. Nothing more is true than this. ईश्वर सर्वभूतानां निर्देश अर्जुन तिष्ठति भ्रामायण सर्वभूतानि जंत्ररूढ़. He is the controller. We are not. We are just moving, being controlled, operated by Him. Ami jantra, tumi jantri. He is the operator. We think we are the operator. We ignore Him. We avoid Him. We do not acknowledge Him. And we make our life miserable. Acknowledge the fact of life. We are being controlled every moment by God. If this place was not congenial, would He have been kept here? Is it not an insult to God to think that He is unkind to us? At least we should be grateful. Thank Him for taking so much trouble, for thinking of us, which is the best path for me. For me. It's not for general. As far as I am concerned, this is the best part. It cannot be generalized. Here the question comes, a personal question. Whatever is congenial for me may not be congenial for you. Each is great in his own place. For me, this is the chalked out path. Let us accept it and proceed. with inspiration, with encouragement, with positive outlook, and see the difference in life. We are putting bondage around us, thinking that we are gone. Any negative thought should be totally banned. Every moment should have a positive thinking. Yes, this life is meant to realize God. I cannot waste any time in thinking, good or bad. Whatever is given, best and abundant for me, and that should be followed. So these 4 ashramas which are prescribed, every ashrama is a valid path, subject to one condition, that is Shraddha. We must have faith, confidence, belief that this particular station of life is a valid station for me. Why are you not achieving this goal? Why are you not achieving success in life? Because we do not have Shraddha. Wherever we are, we do not have that faith that this is the best method for me. Whoever is in a sannyasin, he thinks the householder is better, householder thinks sannyasin is better, going back and forth, not having Shraddha in either, both are away from the goal. Changing color, changing the station of life is not a solution. We have to develop Shraddha. Shraddha on this particular station of life, Shraddha on ourselves, Shraddha in our intrinsic inherent glory, Shraddha in our inherent God. God is present. We are ignoring Him. We are avoiding Him. But God is kind. He is not leaving us. We have left God. God is not leaving us. He is patiently waiting when this person will be able to recognize me and have faith on me. And then we'll join together. Cooperate with the will of God. The wind is blowing. We want to blow across the wind. Let us cooperate. The wind is blowing for my sake. Let me run. Let me thank God. Let me join hands with God and make our journey pleasurable and successful. Sri Ramakrishna will further intensify this point with a couple of examples which we'll take up in our next class. He'll further continue with the example of a weaver and one of the devotees, Keshav Chandra Sen, which we'll take up in our next Sunday class. Niranjanam nityam anantarupam bhaktanukampadhrita vigraham vai Ishavataram parameshamidyam tam Ramakrishnam shirasa namama. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Shri Ramakrishnarpanamastu. Let us close with a chorus chanting of the name of the Lord. Please join with me. Hari Om Rama Krishna, Hari Om Rama Krishna, Hari Om Rama Krishna, Hari Om. Hari Om Rama Krishna, Hari Om Rama Krishna, Hari Om Rama Krishna, Hari Om. Hari Om Rama Krishna, Hari Om Rama Krishna, Hari Om Rama Krishna, Hari Om. Hari Om Rama Krishna, Hari Om Rama Krishna, Hari Om Rama Krishna, Hari Om. Hari Om Rama Krishna, Hari Om Rama Krishna, Hari Om Rama Krishna, Krishna Hari Om. Hari Om Rama Krishna Hari Om Rama Krishna Hari Om. Rama Krishna Hari Om. Hari Om Rama Krishna Hari Om Rama Krishna Hari Om Rama Krishna Hari Om. Hari Om Rama Krishna Hari Om Rama Krishna Hari Om Rama Krishna Hari Om. Now, there are certain announcements.